Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
His word of the day, I think.
Albedo.
It's like we're Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Albedo.
You spell albedo?
ALBEDO.
It's been fun to spell.
It is. It's a fun word.
More fun to say,
Yeah.
but also fun to spell.
We're going to talk about albedo in a second.
Yes.
First of all, Lisa Bedell, Scott and Dillon vote. We're doing our Facebook Live. We do it every morning between 8 and 9 o'clock. You can find it on your Facebook feed. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look for InForum. It'll get you to our channel. You can also find it on our website, inforum.com. Just go there, type in the InForum Minute. You'll find it. So you can find us in all sorts of places to see our beautiful faces and get all the latest news and weather updates. Good plug, huh?
Dylan's eyes. I can see you with it's like beautiful faces. He's like,
The first thing I thought, didn't you say podcasting platform?
Yeah.
I only can hear our faces. I can actually see our faces.
you can imagine
Man.
what our faces look like right now if you're listening on the podcast.
I am taller than both of them if you're listening on a podcast. That's all you need to know.
Everyone.
I am. Tallest man-made structure in Fargo. Nick Broadway told me that a year and a half ago. Okay, that doesn't matter. That's aside from the point. We're talking about albedo today and yesterday, right? Right, Scott? You've
Yeah.
been telling it to me all morning. Like, you just come up to me and say, albedo.
I said your albedo is showing. It's not,
That means nothing.
not in the
because
context, but it's funny to say.
albedo is just how much of the sun's energy reflects off the Earth's surface. And snow, a lot of the sun's energy reflects off the surface. You got snow and the white, fluffy snow with something called a very high albedo. 80 to 90% of the sun's energy reflects back into the atmosphere from the... So the sun's energy hits the snow and then goes back. 80 to 90% of the energy goes back into the atmosphere. But pine trees and darker trees like we have in northern Minnesota, they actually soak. They have a lower albedo. Their albedo is from 10 to 20% roughly. And because of that, they soak in the sun's energy and trap some of that heat inside before releasing only 20 to 30% of that same energy back in the atmosphere. What does this mean? It means this time of year especially, northern Minnesota gets like 3 to 4 degrees warmer than anywhere else does in North Dakota, in the prairies and farmlands. And it's noticeable. Yesterday our high temperatures were warmer in northern Minnesota. They'll be warmer again today just because of that albedo factor.
Okay.
And now you wait until we start to melt some snow. And like the western half of the state, they always melt snow first. And when they melt all their snow, the white snow, very, very bad. Because albedo is very high, remember?
Yeah.
High albedo is bad for our temperatures. So, in like the end of the month, probably early April, when we get to like half the state with no snow, they'll be hitting the 50s and 60s. For us, we'll still have the snow. We'll be stuck in the 30s, maybe 40s at best. So,
okay.
it's a big thing. We'll be talking about it a lot. It's a big springtime thing.
Interesting. Cool.
It's interesting.
It
I'm
is. It's
more
fun.
smart now than I was when I came in for First News today because you taught me something.
A little
Tried to.
smarter anyway.
Thanks,
little
Dylan.
smarter.
Just
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah. That's just that. And then the forecast for today. I should probably
Yeah.
give that too.
I suppose.
South breeze, going to be gusty, 15 to 25, gusting up to 35 miles an hour. It's a breezy, it's a windy day, no doubt about it. Warming temperatures up into the upper 20s. East-west roads are probably going to be slippery just because of snow drifting over the road, but warmer. And then tomorrow we're tracking a little bit of light precip and then possibly snow overnight Wednesday into Thursday. So
right.
keep you updated. But tomorrow, high temperatures in the middle 30s, which will be nice,
There we
It's going
go.
to feel awesome.
but cloudy.
And snowing, maybe raining
And
a
maybe
little bit.
snowing. Exactly. So, hey.
Oh yeah, by
We're
the way,
trying.
that also.
yeah.
Just focus on the positive.
Stay positive, people.
Exactly. Stay positive.
All right,
That's all
thank you,
can do.
Dylan.
Thanks, Dylan.
All right, well, right now, this is breaking news this morning. We're working to learn more information on a high-risk search warrant that was conducted in Fargo. That raid happened just after 6 this morning. It was a joint effort between the Red River SWAT team and the Cass County Drug Task Force. It happened in the 800 block of 42nd Street in South Fargo. Fargo police are telling us that they did use a flashbang during that search. 5 people were detained in the raid. Of course, we are still working to learn more about the investigation, what led to that search warrant, and who was detained, possibly arrested. But right now, Fargo police are not giving us a lot of information because they say it's still in the middle of an investigation. So.
All right. School has been canceled in Cavalier, North Dakota after a threat of gun violence. The superintendent put a statement on the school's website. He says the threat was made on social media, and out of caution, they decided to close up the schools for today until they could figure out exactly what all happened and do an investigation. That threat is under investigation, and of course, we're going to let you know when those students are allowed to return to class.
Moorhead firefighters were called out to a house and were there for a couple of hours overnight. The story that we broke for you on First News. Firefighters were called to 416 30th Street North just before 4:30 this morning. A fire captain on scene told us that it turned out it was some smoke that was building up in the house due to damaged furnace belt or something malfunctioning with the furnace.
Yep.
They tell us no one was hurt, but the whole family initially was evacuated. There was so much smoke in the house, they didn't know what was going on. So we're going to follow up on this story and find out what exactly happened, but we do know that the family was allowed back in the home once fire crews left.
All right, another fire to tell you about. This one happened over the weekend. Snow and access to water created a lot of problems for Detroit Lakes firefighters when they were responding to a house fire near Lake Melissa. Started late Sunday night on the porch of that house, and there was so much snow that firefighters actually had to use a snow plow to just get to the house. Kind of crazy. Another problem, the closest water hookup was 750 feet away, so they had to run a lot of hose to get the water from there to the home. Once the firefighters finally got inside, the fire had spread to the first and second floors, as well as engulfed the stairs and the attic. The firefighters eventually had to get out of that house for their own safety, and then soon after that, the roof collapsed. We are still waiting to hear a cause on that fire, but the house is a total loss.
Wow, that's scary stuff. And it makes sense with all the snow that we have gotten and then out in the lakes country, so not good. Today, a Crookston, Minnesota man accused of stabbing his mother will be in court. It's the latest in a story we've been covering here on WDAY for you since it happened earlier this month. 36-year-old Kevin Corona is facing an attempted murder charge in connection to the stabbing of his mother. Police say 52-year-old Angie Gonzalez was stabbed nearly a dozen times with a knife that had a 10-inch blade. The mother of 5, grandmother of 17, credits her faith in helping her recover. A GoFundMe page has been set up for Gonzalez. So far, it's raised over $5,500. You can find that if you just look for the story at InForum.com. The community is also planning an enchilada fundraiser in Crookston this coming Friday.
Yeah, it's great to see the community rally around
Right.
her. All right, we are learning more about a Moorhead murder as well this morning. We now know the name of the man who was killed in that. It was the half-brother and roommate of the suspect, 25-year-old Douglas Swenson. The victim, 29-year-old Dustin Momorak. Police were sent to the Southview Apartments around 11:30 Thursday night after a man was heard shouting, "You deserve to die," on a 911 call. When officers went to that second floor apartment, they say Swenson answered the door. He was naked, covered in blood, but insisted Momorak was okay. They said then Swenson became combative when the officers asked to go inside, and they had to tase him to get him into handcuffs. Police say Momorak was found dead in that apartment. An autopsy revealed several broken bones in his face, a skull fracture, broken ribs, and then sharp force injuries to his neck, such as potentially like a stab wound or something like that. Swenson is charged with second-degree murder, and he is being held on a $1 million bond.
Right now, the Moorhead City Council says it needs more time to decide what to do with a lot of complaints they've been getting about a new nightclub that just opened in town. Classic Touch Lounge opened just 6 weeks ago, right across from the Holiday gas station on 11th Street North. In the first 2 weekends, the bar got 3 noise complaints, and then this last weekend, Moorhead police say they got reports of someone firing a gun 20 times into the air just outside of that nightclub.
Yeah.
So now the city council is looking at maybe implementing a conditional use permit. In it would include a couple things like they would have to close at 1 a.m. They're also looking at installing a noise fence, but the bar owners say that might not work. They say they might not be able to put up a fence because they're actually just leasing the building. At this point, the bar and the bar owners have agreed to host a community meeting for the neighborhood within the next 30 days. As far as the city council, they say they're kind of tabling this. They're going to look at their options, discuss it again in 2 weeks.
All right, let's look at the national scale today. Big story, the fallout this morning after the collapse of 2 U.S. banks. President Joe Biden, he's trying to calm fears right now, telling Americans that their money is safe. The Biden administration is taking emergency action as some scramble to take out their cash at the bank right away, put it all in their homes. The latest inflation report is due out this morning. It is expected to show the inflation rate dropped to 6%. So that is lower than it has been, but of course still high. The latest economists predict that the Fed will think twice about another big rate hike in light of these recent bank failures.
Remember, Hot Mike with Dom Izzo is on from 9 to 11 this morning on WDAY Extra, also InForum.com. Hot topic probably today, NFL free agency.
Yes, Yesterday began the legal tampering period, so technically the players can't sign yet, but they can agree to terms on new contracts. So a lot of players agreeing to go new places. So this is kind of the Super Bowl for teams that didn't win the Super Bowl. You get a fresh start and kind of get some new players in there, that kind of thing. So it's an exciting time. That'll go on for the next few weeks. Carson Wentz, though, there was no news on if he signed anywhere. So he's still out there, still available.
Still out there,
for a
still
new
available.
team.
Yeah, lots of stuff. I know I've been reading a little bit, and you follow Dom on Twitter. It's a great resource too. In addition to Hot Mic, a lot of talk about Easton Stick.
Oh, yep. He
Former
re-signed.
Bison staying with the Chargers. So that's interesting. And I'm sorry, I'm still kind of heartbroken over the whole Adam Thielen thing. So
Yeah,
where's he
he's-
going to go?
You know, there's a lot of speculation if Aaron Rodgers ends up going to the New York Jets that he'll follow him to the Jets, but that's just all hearsay. So we'll see what happens, but he'll go somewhere and he'll be productive at least for another year or two.
Okay,
So,
well, tune in, Dom. We'll have some input, and we'll break all of this down
Yeah.
for you on Hot Mic today. And don't forget, right now, through the end of the week, March 17th, you can get 6 months of unlimited access to InForum.com for just $2. That's really one of the places, besides Dom's Twitter, that I get most of my sports news. So
Yeah.
the local news, sports, and of course weather as well, all in one place. It's a limited time offer, so don't wait. Just go to inform.com/subscribe to get that deal.
And remember to join us for our newscast throughout the day for updates on all these local stories and your weather headlines. Our next newscast is at 11 o'clock. Then we have newscasts all afternoon, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. And then you can join us again tomorrow morning for first news from 5 to 7 a.m.
Have a great day, everyone. Stay warm.
Bye.